Hi, I'm Tom and I'd like you to join my little lecture on socialist economies. It happened that I have lived almost half of my life in this kind of economy before it passed in 1989, so I've got personal experience in that subject. I'm also a founder of Economic Society. Following broadcast starts series of lectures on economy of socialist Poland. In this part I will talk over mechanism of circulation for merchandise, products and services. There is common false conviction about socialist economy that the central government planning officer decided what, how and where products should be manufactured. Supposedly he would also decide where these commodities had to be delivered and when they had to be sold. One could make such irrational depiction that the planning officer sitting in capital of the United States ordered deliveries and sales to Hood Oil in Oklahoma at month of March for these commodities: 100 pounds of carrot, a pound of parsley, 200 pieces of apples. This false belief emerges from ignorance of reality and true working principles of socialist economy. Most of the myths are created by journalists and politicians. Some of them have source in academic circles. These are the latter people who spread misconceptions and lies rooting the debate which took place before the Second World War. There was a discussion between Polish outstanding economist Oskar Lange and two well-known followers of liberalism, Mises and Hayek. Mr. Lange represented socialist side. The debate alone was pure academic dispute. As far as economics history is concerned, this debate doesn't provide any useful knowledge on socialism. This is so because implemented solutions were very different from outlined ideas in the discussion. So, how did enterprises really function in Polish People's Republic? For the sake of clarity, I won't discuss here how shops worked. I will tell you only about trade between enterprises. Omitting the competition and central planning issues, socialist companies worked on the same principles as enterprises do today in free market economies. Client made order with company and enterprise put it into production or delivered the goods. This is the client who decided about quantity and type of assortment. It is obvious that the option was limited by available technology and financial factors. By the way, these factors limit the choice as well till present day. The client was usually another state-owned enterprise, though there might be private one. Sometimes client was a private person. Private-owned businesses and private persons were served in second turn. This was the main root of problems the private companies and private social organizations faced. Churches experienced difficulties in raising up their buildings due to the shortage for them of the building materials. All orders of commodity greater in weight or volume than one rail car had to pass through headquarter wholesale enterprise. These companies were some sort of hyper wholesaler, coordinating goods transportation across the country. In case of longer distances, transportation by train or barge was mandatory. This obligation aimed to amass transported commodities, thus allowing to optimize means of transportation, lowering the load of route traffic, and saving energy and fuels. Any economically educated person knows that railway transportation is several times cheaper in terms of expenditures and outlays than use of lorries and trucks. We are approaching to the end of this presentation. I will return for a while the example showed at the beginning of this broadcast. It was about food supplies. The point is that the food was not embraced by central planning system, even though there was a system of subsidies on food stamp commodities. Planning, or rather buying to speak more strictly, applied to agricultural produce supplied to industry. That's all for this part. In future lectures we will talk about establishing of prices and forms and ways of central planning.